And we are back. Very many thanks for choosing to stay with us. And in case you're just joining us, welcome to Kenya's Gold, where the focus of the show today is to learn so much about Sahiwal cattle. And we do want to get into the conversation of maintaining the pure breed of this cattle. And to shed more light on that, we do have the distinct honor of being joined by Dr. Ruth Wainaina, who is a Chief Research Scientist from Calro. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today.
Thank you.
Karibu sana Kenya's Gold.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, anytime. Now, I want us to start the show on a light note. A Chief Research Scientist. This feels like a woman in a men's field. Now, this being a month where we're celebrating women, talk to us and encourage now more women to get into these fields, which more often than not, we see a lot of men are dominating. You're right.
Because when you go to the field in animal breeding, you rarely see ladies. You're quite few. So I'll tell girls down there to do that breeding courses.
Right.
Because they're quite few, and we need them.
Great.
We need to compete with men.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being a good example for the women, and also happy International Women's Month.
Thank you.
Great. Now, moving on to the conversation, tumetoka kuona community pale Umasaini whereby they come together, they buy a bull, and they use that bull to service the different cows within that community. That is the effort they're putting in place in order to maintain the purity of the Sahiwal cattle. You being a scientist with so much experience in this field, is this a safe method in a long-term perspective when it comes to maintaining the purity of this breed?
In long-term perspective, it's not, because sometimes they can get STI, that is sexually transmitted diseases, and it can be very hard now to treat the whole population of that area, of that community. So that is one. Second, if that community-based breeding scheme is not well managed, then inbreeding can crop in. Mm-hmm. So that is something that should be looked at when they're using the community-based mating season, mm-hmm. mating bulls.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not advisable?
It's not, but as long as they're not able to take up these other reproductive technology, then that is a good choice. Mm-hmm. And if there's someone else, there's a technical person who can be managing that scheme, mm-hmm. it's quite good. That is, after every 1 year, then they have to do the rotation of that bull.
Mm-hmm. After every
1 year.
1 year.
After every 1 year of mating, mm-hmm. they have to rotate a bull,
right.
from one community to the other.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's being reported also in the Sahiwal cattle. A lot of cases are coming up of inbreeding. Please talk to us in depth about some of the common mistakes that farmers across the countries are doing that is leading to this problem.
That is one thing, the community breeding scheme, because they are not able to maintain that after every 1 year they have to change it. Mm-hmm. And second, because the population of Sahiwal is quite narrow, mm-hmm. so it's not easy to get a bull to bring in for mating. Mm-hmm. And another thing, they don't keep records. So most of the farmers down there, they don't keep records. Mm-hmm. So it's not easy to know where this bull has been mating, which group of cows. Mm-hmm. So that is the main reason. Keeping records, they can be able to cater for the inbreeding challenges.
So kama wakulima ambao wako kwa hiyo community, is it every individual farmer that needs to take it upon themselves to keep a record, ama kunafaa kuwa na head boy na head girl mwenye mmeappoint in that community mwenye anawekea records?
No, as long as you are doing it in a communal thing, then one person should be doing the head count for that bull. How many cows have they mated, mm-hmm. and which cows? Mm-hmm. And then they'll know the offspring, they should not be there. They should not be mated by the sire,
right.
or that bull. Mm-hmm. So with that, if an individual farmer can be able to do that, the better. Mm-hmm. But if they are doing it using one bull as a community, mm-hmm. then one person has to be doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
For that one bull in community taleta, is there a limit of how many cows you should give it to serve?
Yeah, it depends. In any season, if it's wet season where there's plenty of feed, then about 60
60 cows.
60 cows,
right.
It can mate.
And when there's no plenty of feed?
Less than that.
Less than that.
Because even that bull need to be healthy for it to have the energy to mate. Yeah.
However, in no situation tusipitishe 60 cows.
No,
for one bull.
Yeah, for one bull in one
Great.
season.
All right, so let's talk about Kalro Naivasha being the national Sahiwal stud in Kenya, which is the main breeding station where Sahiwal population is bred under a closed nucleus. Talk to us about what you're doing, the innovation that you're putting in place to make sure that the farmers, kama wale ambao tumeona leo kwa feature, are able to get superior bulls, semen, and also cows for rotation.
Yeah, and they're really talking about Kalro Naivasha on a higher note.
Is that you being so happy and proud?
Yeah, we are very proud, and because we are there for them. And yeah, in Naivasha, that's where the National Sahiwal stand is, and we have about 1,500 Sahiwals. And what we do, we do record keeping. Performance. We always keep record. We have pedigree data, we have performance data, and we do genetic evaluation. So we can be able to tell a farmer when he comes to buy a bull, this bull, the offspring can produce this amount of milk. You get? The offspring can produce this amount of milk. So what we do after every year, we get 5%. 5% of the evaluated bulls kept for semen collection, and that is what we take to Kagrik.
So please make that very clear. We also want to understand your relationship with Kagrik. What do you take to Kagrik, and at what point is it taken to Kagrik?
Because we need to conserve these Sahiwal breed. So what we do, they come. Of course, we tell them the best bull now. They have to come and collect the tested bull. Come collect the semen and keep it for us or conserve it for us. If any farmer in this country wants to have a Sahiwal cattle, Kagrik, they can be able to sell. Yes.
So siwezi kuja kuinunua kutoka kwa Kalro?
Bull you can.
Okay.
But semen you can't. Because even as they come and collect the semen and conserve for us or preserve for us. Because as we have that, we don't have that, that opportunity to do that. But for the bulls, the mature bulls, we sell to the farmers. So the main aim of that stand is to produce bulls for high genetic merit to sell to the farmers. And second is to improve the genetic materials, that the Sahiwal, every year, so that every year we have a better animal. Or a better stock. And that one is to produce progen-tested bulls to take to Kagrik so that it can be able to produce the semen. Yeah, so those are the three main aim of National Sahiwal stand, Naivasha.
So the semen is preserved now at Kagrik?
Yes.
Ule mkulima mwenye sasa anataka kufanya artificial insemination, yeye atachukua semen kutoka huko?
Yes, actually not even Kagrik. What he does, you'll go to any AI technician in that area. Just tell him or her, I want semen straw. He'll be able to serve your animals with
So talk to me about ule mkulima ambaye ataamua na wacha niende Kalro nitafute the bull, a superior bull for Sahiwal that I want in my farm. Alafu unamwambia wacha nikusaidie kuchagua the good quality. What are those qualities that make this bull superior?
As I've said, we always get like 150 bulls every year. So 5% we evaluate for the semen collection, and then the rest we're supposed to keep some for our breeding, for our mating, because for our breeding bulls, to keep it for the bulls, for our own bulls. If he comes, we'll be able, because already when we identify these are breeding bulls, we've already done the evaluation, depending on its performance, the growth rate, and the performance of its mother, the milk production. Because remember, this animal is a dual purpose. So you have to look for the milk and the weight. So the performance of its mother, of its dam, and the performance of the siblings. Yes. So with that, we can be able to tell, because we keep real record. Pedigree and performance data. So we can be able to go to our records and tell him, this is a good bull. Yeah, because of the performance in milk yield and growth rate. Yeah.
So for those who want to now go the direction of artificial insemination, of course now you have to get the expert who will come with the semen. Ule mkulima mwenye ameamua sahi, I'm going the direction of AI. How can they identify a proper expert in artificial insemination? Ndio pia nisilete mtu ambaye atanifanyia kazi jua kali pale and you know things don't work out.
Because that is very tricky because the conception rate depends with so many factors, either the inseminator, the animal, or the semen itself. For us, we can't tell which is the best inseminator because that is not our area. But I think the inseminators out there, they are well trained.
Right.
They are well trained and they can be able to do it as long as they tell them, I need semen straw from Sahiwal.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So talk to me about some of the factors that are frustrating breed improvement efforts here in Kenya. Changamoto ambazo mnaweza kuwa mmepitia kwa kazi ni kama gani?
Nianze kwanza na recording.
Start, please.
Yes. Most of the farmers out there, they don't keep records. And if you want to improve your herd, you must keep records so that you can know how is it performing from now and how was it performing before, so that you can be able to select your animals, your best cows from that record. So that is one thing that they don't do. Then in breeding, because farmers out there, the Sahiwal population is quite small. And it is localized in different areas. That you go, it's Naivasha, go to Kajiado, to Transmara, and West Pokot. So for a farmer who is small scale, it's not easy for him to get a bull. So that is another thing. And of course, the genetic diversity we are so enclosed as Sahiwal breed. Yeah, you can't get it with so many areas. So inbreeding and data, that is the main reason why there is no good improvement. And ART, reproduction technology. Most of the farmers, they have not taken up the technology, like the AI, which is very, very important. And that one is very easy to do genetic improvement if you use the AI. Some farmers haven't acknowledged that, or they have not accepted to do that. Yeah.
So when it comes to keeping records, because you unaisema very passionately, do you think, is it an awareness issue ama tu wana ignore kuifanya? What is the challenge in there ndo hawaeki hizi records?
It's not easy to keep records.
Okay.
It's not easy to keep records. And they need someone to, that is awareness, and to tell them the importance of keeping records. We have tried, and most of the farms, like, I don't want to go to the tire and all of it, but there are farmers who are doing that. They're keeping records. But those farmers who are improving their local breed, is not easy because they don't really understand. But record, if you want to improve your genetic material, record keeping it's key.
Right. Thank you so much for that. The farmers who are listening, you're learning so much from Dr. Ruth that it is very important for you to do record keeping in your farm. It will help you so much in making sure that you're minimizing the chances of inbreeding amongst very many other benefits that you do get from keeping data in your farm. Now, we will be continuing with this conversation, but for now, let us talk to the young people in agriculture. We have some good news for you to now patia form on what you can do to make sure that you are thriving in the agricultural sector. Now, the Young People in Agriculture Awards by Tupande in partnership with MasterCard is very keen to make sure that it is supporting the young people in agriculture. And the kind of support that they are offering, one is to make sure that you have quality farm inputs. Here we are talking about your seeds, your fertilizers, your your seedlings. In order for you to have a success farm season, you have to make sure that you have quality farm inputs, and Young People in Agriculture by Tupande is making sure that you do have that. Also, something very keen that they are on for you as a young person in agriculture is giving you cost-effective solutions that can help you increase the harvest in your farm. At the end of the season, ukishapanda mboga yako ama mahindi, whatever it is that you're doing, whichever agri-sector that you are in, you want to make sure that you have good harvest at the end of the day. And Young People in Agriculture Awards is keen on making sure that you achieve that. So I know you're wondering, how can I be part of Young People in Agriculture Awards by Tupande? Now, what you have to do is register by dialing *896 *9#. I'll repeat that code one more time. You register by dialing *896 *9#. That way you get to be part of Young People in Agriculture Awards by Tupande. Remember, at the end of the day, they're very keen to make sure that you, as a young person in agriculture, you're enjoying maswala ya ukulima, and also at the end of the day, you're getting good returns in your pocket. So hurry up and sign up today to Young People in Agriculture Awards by Tupande in partnership with MasterCard. And with that, it's time for us to take our second break, but we still have a lot more coming up after this, including agricultural news. What is happening in the agricultural sector? You get to find out about that and more when we come back.
Wakenya hawatasafiri kwenda kutafuta ID. Utafanyia kwa sub-county yako, inamalizia hapo, na wewe unangojea siku 10, ID inafika, unatumia kwa kazi yenye unafanya wewe mwenyewe.
Ni rasmi kuwa serikali imeondolea mbali ada ya 300 kwa wanaotafuta vitambulisho kwa mara ya kwanza.
Kwa hivyo tunasema tu hata sisi wabunge tupewe tu mshahara karibu na ya gavana. Vile mshahara ya mbunge yuko karibu na ya rais.
Wawakilishi wodi wanaokongamana Nairobi sasa wadai nyongeza ya 700% ya mishahara yao.
Tangu last year July up to now tunaambia wagonjwa ena nyumbani, utarudi, haifanyi kazi. Tukiuliza tunaambiwa budget cuts.
Ni mtoto nilimleta kutoka date 19. Mtoto amefanywa surgery juzi na wananiambia nikujie mgonjwa saa hizi, na huyo mtoto hata hajarecover.
Madhila na hasira za wagonjwa huku wahudumu wa afya hospitali ya rufaa ya Moi Eldoret wa Kigoma. Na kwenye kilimo biashara leo tunaangazia faida ya ng'ombe wenye uwezo wa kustahimili mazingira magumu.
Turn everyday greens into family favorites. Transform managu, mchicha, mrenda, and mito into family favorites. When almost cooked, add red and yellow hoho, garlic, and dania for great flavor and a burst of color.
Afya bora huanza na chakula bora.
Msimu huu wa Ramadhan, save pakubwa na Citizen Duka, the home of discounts. Pata tende 500 grams kwa shilingi 289 kutoka 375, 2 kgs basmati rice kwa 589 badala 746, 2 kg ya unga wa ngano kwa 149 kutoka 171, na 500 ml maziwa kwa shilingi 45 badala ya 49. Kununua bidhaa hizi, dial *487*5#, chagua bidhaa unayoitaka, lipa na uchukue bidhaa hizi kwenye Quickmart supermarket karibu nawe na uenjoy kusave. Citizen Duka, the home of discount.
Sahi, ushindi ni in seconds tu. Patapata.com ina-introduce ligi kali, a virtual football league. Unashinda up to 3 million bob instantly. Wekelea from 5 bob tu, game ni za between 2 to 5 minutes, winnings na withdrawals ni instant. Visit patapata.com now. Play, win, repeats. Not for persons under the age of 18. Authorized and regulated by BCLB 447.
And we're back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We are continuing with our conversation with Dr. Ruth Wainaina, who is a Chief Research Scientist at Calro. Now, let's talk about the fact that you supply bulls to different farmers across the country. Do you take it a step further to follow up? Kuona, how are they coping with this bull? Are they following the correct practices so that we maintain the superiority of the bull that they got and the breed generation that is coming?
Yeah, exactly. What we do when they come to buy the bulls, we make sure that we write their name, their county, and their ward, so that once they go after a year, we always go for backstopping, just to know how the bull is doing, see the offsprings, and of course to technical backstop to tell them how they are supposed to do it if they have not been doing it. Yeah, so that is something that we are doing. And yeah, it has been there since every year when we sell, because we always sell bulls once a year. So after selling the year, we follow that bull.
Is there a particular period where you in the year when you sell the bulls?
Yes, we sell once in a year.
Is there a particular month or it's
maybe from October, November, December? Yeah.
And how many bulls do you sell in a year?
Like 60 per year, at least 60 per year. But the demand is quite high. We get like over 500 farmers registering that they want the bulls.
Right. And you can only sell 60 of these bulls.
We can only sell 60.
So what can we do to meet the demand? Is there hope for that?
That is where now the multipliers are coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of the multipliers, we do have that 3-tier breeding structure.
Yeah.
I want you to talk to us about the nuclear herd, then we have the multipliers, and then now we have the commercial herd. Tukianza pale kwa nuclear herd, who is that? What is happening there? Please break that down for us.
Yeah, the nuclear herds are Kara and other satellite farms. And Kara, I mean, because Kara, we are nuclears. We do close bleeding. We don't allow any germplasm to get in since the time when we started. Not unless now we import from outside. But the last time it was imported is long time. So, and other satellite farms. And those satellite farms, they are not many. Ni wale wanajua kuweka records. They have technical and physical infrastructure in place. And those are the farmers that their animals are more or less like us. So, but for them, what they do, they allow other germplasm, other animals to get in, not like us. So their bleeding system is not closed, it's open.
Right.
So they can get from us. So those are the farmers, and those are the lunches, big lunches, specific. Can I name a few? We have Kayan, which is in Narok, and Doreen. Yeah. So those are the farms that we see them as they're more or less like us, but as we are closed.
Right.
So for them, they produce bulls, superior bulls, and give it to and sell it to the multipliers. And so those are the multipliers are in different counties. Like we have some in Kajiado, Narok, and West Pokot. And those multipliers, they're not. Okay, let me go back to the nuclears. Nuclear herds, in the nuclear, that is tier 1. That is where the selection criteria or how they do the selection decision is based on the pedigree data, performance data, and genetic evaluation. So, and 5% of the bulls that are evaluated, they are kept for AI. So in tier 1, that is where everything is done. AI is done. Let's say the ALT technology is applied there, and the data is well done. Go to Tier 2, where we have multipliers. As much as they have physical and technical infrastructure, not as good as Tier 1. So these are the farmers that already they are better off than, and they have improved Sahiwal. They also base their selection criteria or decision on the data that they have.
Right.
Go to commercial. That is where we have farmers, the normal pastoralists. They have an improved local zebus.
Right.
And so their decision for selection is based on the physical appearance and also their indigenous knowledge.
Great.
Yeah.
So we need to increase our multipliers so that we make sure that tunamiti your demand.
Exactly.
Right. So now we will, of course, have to wind up that conversation here, but we'll keep having it right here on the program to make sure that we are maintaining the superiority of the Sahiwal cattle in Kenya. Now, before we move on to the agricultural news, allow me, as usual, to give you farmers tips on what you need to do to make sure that you are growing in the agricultural sector. Please, dear farmer, make sure that you are part of a cooperative society. From the feature of the day today, we learned how the community, being in a society with other farmers, helps you to achieve different goals in the agricultural sector. Remember, when you are part of a cooperative society, you do stand a higher chance of getting financial support from various financial institutions like the cooperative bank. Also, you get quality farm inputs, your seeds, your fertilizers, and your seedlings, and also a market for your produce at the end of the season. And remember, still in there in your cooperative society, you also get professional agronomy services, and you only need to be about 10 members to form a cooperative society. So dear farmer, usifanye vitu kiwa peke yako. Ungana na wakulima wengine and be part of a society that will help you grow in not just doing agriculture, but doing agribusiness as well. Now, as we wind up the program right here, we don't want to share some tips and also information on what is really happening in the agricultural sector. Besides Sahiwal, which has been our focus on conversation today, what else is happening in the agricultural space? Now, it's important to note that the Agriculture and Livestock Development CS Mutahi Kagwe is sensitizing on the inclusive of financial solutions to support farmers. This happened as he was speaking at the African Development Bank Conference on financing smallholder farmers. It's very important right now to make sure that credit solutions are accessible to our farmers. And finally, the Africa Fertilizer Financing Mechanism, a special fund of African Development Bank Group, today held a high-level field visit in Nakuru County with high-profile dignitaries in attendance. The whole aim is to ensure that our farmers are getting quality farm inputs and also looking at the impact of the Africa Fertilizer Financing Mechanism. And with that, we have come to the end of the program today. A very big thanks to you, Dr. Ruth, for making time to be with us today. Kazi nzuri sana mnafanya pale Calvo. Pass our regards to the entire team. Maybe one of these fine days we should come and see how farmers buy the bulls from you when you're doing it in the year. Mesema mnauza about 60 bulls.
Yeah,
when that time comes, I'd like to see how that exchange and interaction with the farmers work. Michukaribisha.
Oh, that would be very good. Welcome.
Great. Kenya's Gold will be there. Very big thanks, of course, to our farmers who made this episode a success, and the team, of course, that is working on this production. We say a very big thanks. We'll see you again tomorrow with a lot more in the space of agriculture. Until then, do have yourselves a fantastic evening. My name is Violetta Ngina. Goodbye.